Hey guys, it's Gabriel here. I know you guys are all getting ready for the Airsoft event coming up. I know for many of you, this may be your first large-scale Airsoft event or operation, as we like to call them. And so, given that context, I've had a lot of different questions come to me just about gear and what do you need and how do you prepare. And so, I wanted to put this video together to give you guys a tool to have something to reference back to, have some visual examples, and just really be confident that you know you have what you need for this upcoming event. There's a lot of moving pieces in all of this, so I want to answer some of those questions maybe before you even think to ask them, but also answer them in a way that you can have a really impactful and engaging type of answer to those questions. So, just to start it off, I've got a number of different things here on the table. We'll talk about each of them as we go forward. But for this upcoming event, generic to basically all Airsoft events, but particularly for this upcoming, I know it's very applicable. I have 5 categories of things that you need to make sure that you have. 5 categories that you are gonna have to have covered in order to be efficient, be effective, and to be safe at this Airsoft event coming up. If you don't have all 5 of these covered, you will either have a problem medically, some type of safety issue, straight up not have a good time, or feel like you're missing out in one aspect or another. And this is really stripped down, bare bones, minimum, so that you can see what is the minimum it takes to get into this and to play with it, but also you have a confident understanding of what you need. So without further ado, those 5 categories. Number 1 is your gun, right? So you need some type of airsoft gun. Whatever that is, that's your decision. You can make it up. Rifle, pistol, shotgun, all those different things. Just beware that whatever you pick, you need to make sure that it applies with the event rules. Read all the rules and applicable things for the event before coming. Make sure you got those things squared away if there's any other details that I'm missing in this video. So this thing's all Gucci'd up for a variety of different stuff, night vision and whatnot, but guns. The next category is ammo. When we think about ammo, we generally think about BBs, but there's a number of different pieces in that. And we'll talk about it a little bit more in a bit. So make sure you get all your stuff for ammo covered. Third category is safety gear. And so I've got a paintball mask here. I've also got some safety glasses with a full seal. Full seal is important. We'll get into that again in a little bit. So gun, ammo, safety gear. Fourth category is food and water, things to keep you alive. And so I've got water here. I got a Cliff Bar. I particularly love Cliff Bars. Very, very easy and packed with a bunch of energy. In that same category, or mixed in with safety, you may consider some type of a med kit. All of us that will be at the event are carrying some type of a med kit. There's also medical staff standing by at the vast majority of these events that are organized by the staff themselves, organizing company. So those things are covered, but if you want to take that upon yourself to have some type of first aid, that is definitely recommended. The last category is airsoft specific or mission specific equipment. And there's a variety of things that you can see all right here that go into that particular category. Again, we'll dive into it a little bit more. So those 5 categories, right? Gun, ammo, safety equipment, safety glasses and face paintball mask, that type of thing. And then food and water, things to keep you alive. And the last is mission specific or airsoft specific gear. So let's talk in depth about each one of these 5 categories. So first is the gun. There are a bajillion options out there, more than you could ever imagine. But I would say in general, make sure that you have something that you've played around with a little bit before, you know that it works. You're not coming to the event with something brand new, straight out of the box, and you have no idea if this thing works or not. Make sure that you're at least a little bit familiar with it. tons and tons of other resources out there for that. I prefer to do something in the AR-15 M4 style type of platform, simply because it's the most common out there, and that means that there's more research and development, engineering time behind all these. There's more of them produced. Generally, you're going to be able to share mags with buddies and things like that if that becomes necessary. Makes a lot of other things about gear much easier. So, guns. One other thing here is, for lots of purposes, mounting a flashlight on your gun is a great idea. It is a little bit extra cost, but even if it's a daytime thing, you might be surprised. Darkness happens all the time. In a dark building, even at noon, there can be plenty of need to be able to shine a flashlight in the corner, see what's going on. But like I said, a million different things you can talk about with this. Just make sure you got your gun figured out. If you want to carry a pistol or something as a secondary gun, that's fine too. It's on you. Just make sure you have all the peripheral gear around that piece figured out. So, okay, gun covered, right? Got it. Easy, simple. The next one we'll cover is ammo. And so, as I said, we think about BBs, right? I'm just going to shortcut it for you. Buy Elite Force BBs. Basically all I've ever used. Fantastic stuff. You could get a PhD in BBs, but none of us have time for that, so just shortcut it. Go at least 0.25 gram weight BBs. Sometimes for pistols, there are purpose to do 0.2 gram BBs, but in my experience, you get much better performance in general the heavier that you go to a point. At this point, I'm shooting typically 0.28 or 0.32 gram BBs. So if you're buying those, the heavier it helps it fly a little bit straighter and maybe cut through brush a little easier. So BBs, Elite Force, easy. You'll also need magazines, just to feed BBs into the gun and allow it to shoot, right? And so there's two different types of magazines, a mid cap or a high cap. The basic difference is, listen to the mid cap. Basically hear nothing, right? There's no rattling around. It's a straight line of BBs under spring tension, and you need a speed loader in order to load it. High cap, yep, okay, you can hear that. There's basically a large reservoir where you just pour BBs into the top of this thing, and there's a little clock winding style wheel at the bottom that cranks this thing up and allows it to feed BBs through the feed tube. Not all events will allow high cap magazines. Just beware. Also, put it in your stuff and you're running around trying to be real sneaky, not super sneaky. But to be honest, it doesn't make near as big a difference as you might think. So beware, have magazines. If you're running high caps, I would say have somewhere around 3. You're definitely going to want 2 to 3, maybe more, but 3 high caps is plenty. If you're running mid caps, for context, high caps usually are somewhere around 300 rounds in a magazine. So it's very different than real stuff, right? Real AR-15s. For mid caps, there's anything from 30 round magazines to be identical to real firearms, all the way to 100. These are 140 round magazines. I've seen 200 round mid cap magazines, and anything in the middle. So my recommendation is to have somewhere between 4 and 7 of these mid-cap magazines. The reason for those numbers has more to do with where can you fit things on your gear, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. Excuse me. So make sure that you have some magazines with you, and that you have at least a minimum number of them. If you go with a mid-cap magazine, you will need a speed loader. Maybe a little hard to tell. This one is shaped like a M4 magazine. which is really convenient because it allows you to put it into a pouch now. But what this does is, trust me, if you don't have one, you're gonna hate your life, because you have to feed each BB individually into this little tube under spring tension. This speed loader allows you to put the little lid on the bottom there, and I will plug it into this magazine and press a button on the top to force BBs in several at a time. So there's a bajillion different types of these out there, and we can give you some links. I like M4 magazine shaped ones because they're easy to put in a pouch. It's totally up to you. There's lots of options. Do your research, see what you like. But if you have mid-cap magazines, you will need a speed loader. So BBs, magazines, and battery. In order to make these electric guns run, you need a battery. If you have a gas pistol or you're running gas guns or something like that, then of course have your applicable gas. But some type of power source is what we're talking about here, right? Make sure that you verify that this power source is what you need for your gun. It's a huge topic, and again, you can get a PhD in it if you want to. To go along with your battery, you need a battery charger of some sort. Typically, these batteries are very similar to RC car batteries, a variety of other hobbyist things like that, but you can't just charge it off a cell phone charger or something very simple. It takes a specific battery charger, and it needs to be a smart charger so that these things don't get overcharged and burst in flames. Basically, all battery chargers for these type of batteries are smart chargers. So just beware, do your research, make sure you're buying something that will do what it needs to do. So BBs, magazines and speed loaders, battery and charger. That covers it for ammo. That does everything you need it to for a functional gun to have the support it needs to launch BBs into the air, the direction you're shooting, right? The next category is safety equipment. So I particularly like these safety glasses with the detachable seal that goes around them. I've run these for a couple of years. I use something different now, but for the price, getting started, I highly recommend this method. These safety glasses can be had for somewhere around $10 or less, and in my experience, they're by far the best option that's not going to break the bank. The full seal is important. You cannot just bring your regular safety glasses with you. It is not acceptable. Basically, all of these airsoft events, per insurance rules and a variety of other things, require full seal. Full seal means is when you put these glasses on, there is a full seal all the way around the glasses on your face, so that there's no way that a BB could come in from the side and get underneath your glasses, or a variety of other potential situations there. Some events may require a retention band, something like croquis across the back. Just beware to check the rule set and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into and that you have the proper equipment. And we can give you links for these things as well if you need them. Beware that airsoft guns do have the ability to shoot out your teeth, and so either don't be a mouth breather or get something like a paintball mask. You can do glasses and then a separate mask. There are some advantages to that. A shortcut way to do it is to do a paintball mask. Thermal lenses are like awesome. If you can do a thermal lens, trust me, it's 100 times better for keeping fog away, and nothing's worse than running around and thinking you're awesome until you realize you can't see because your lenses are fogging. So just beware. If you're concerned about your teeth getting shot out, paintball mask or a detachable mask is something separate from your sealed glasses is a way to go. So that is another option. Food and water. Water is very simple. You can do a water bottle like so, stick this thing in a pocket, stick it in a pouch somewhere. That's very easy. You can also do a like hydration bladder in something like a backpack, or on the back of this plate carrier here. I have a particular pouch that holds one. Has some particular advantages to it. Also food, right? You're gonna be running around a lot and expending a lot of energy. Think hiking, but with a gun and maybe some more weight and a bit more extreme, a lot of adrenaline dumps and things like this. You will be burning a lot of calories. Your body is going to be craving replenishment of those calories. I really enjoy Cliff Bars. I find it very helpful, very simple, easy. Think hiking food, right? Don't have to go all the way to backpacking food where you have to boil water and put it in. It doesn't need to be that. Sack lunch type of stuff is great. Just make sure that you're getting positive, nutritious calories, not just Twinkies, because you will go down quick. So food and water, right? We've lived this long, we know how to deal with that. The last category here is airsoft specific or mission specific equipment. So of course the guns are airsoft specific, but they have their own unique categories because of how complex those categories can be. This particular category though, airsoft specific or mission specific equipment, can be as broad or as narrow as it needs to be for the event, for your particular situation, your particular game, role, whatever the case is. A few of these things though never change. So dead rag, this is a red bandana, and so this is a required piece of equipment. Anytime you're out there playing, you need this on you. The reason is you're out there being awesome, you know, being all beast mode out there slaying fools and doing cool stuff, and then someone gets you from behind and you have no idea they're there, whatever, boom, you're hit, right? You get hit by maybe, oh man, that kind of stinks. You need to pull this out and say, oh, hit, okay. That's how they know they got you, and they're not gonna shoot you more, because you know, we all enjoy getting out there and playing with stuff, but getting shot over and over and over and over again without purpose, that's not enjoyable. This is always required, and it should be red, right? Sometimes different fields will require a different color, but 95 to 99% of the time it's going to be red, so make it easy. If there is a game at night, if it goes past sunset hours, or if you're going to be indoors where you may have dark corners, dark rooms, things like that, you will want a dead light. So it's the red rag, but in a light version, right? I can't see red in the dark, but I can sure see this, and so I know not to shoot you anymore. So keep this type of thing on you for the exact same reason. You can get this type of thing at Walmart for $1. Just go into the camping section, it's great. Also, if the situation is dark, nighttime, indoors, wherever the situation may be, you need, for safety reasons, you need a flashlight, right? And so, as I mentioned before, flashlight on your gun can be very helpful, very effective, but in order to navigate and make sure that you don't trip and break your nose, you need a flashlight. Important stuff. Another very helpful and often required item is a watch. Some of these events, you have particular time hacks that you need to meet. Hey, we've got to be here by this time, we've got to start this by this time. And then there's also when you get shot, typically you have a 3 to 5 minute timeline before you bleed out. So what this means is a teammate has about 3 to 5 minutes in order to get to you and heal you or revive you before you're done. You bled out. You like, man, it didn't get to you quick enough, and so you got to go back to respawn and start the thing over again. Jump back into the fight. How do you know if it's been 3 to 5 minutes? Unless you have a watch on you. Guessing kind of works to a point, but it's frowned upon, and this is very, very useful. So we mentioned teammates reviving you. How do they do that? Great question. Glad you asked. So typically ace bandages are the way to go. Again, very easily find these things at Walmart. Almost always you will want 2 of them. Get rid of the clips that come with them. Don't worry about it. Don't buy the stretchy, sticky, elastic stuff. We've tried that too, and it turns out horrible. Just regular, classic ace bandages. Most events will allow you to buy 1 6-foot bandage, cut it into 2 3-foot strips. But just make sure you check the rules and verify whether or not that's the case. You want to put these in some type of a cargo pocket or pants pocket or something, and be able to produce them quickly when someone runs all the way across the field, you're getting shot at, and they go, "Hey man, where's your bandage?" You want to be able to give this to them quickly. But yeah, 2 ace bandages. You want those. One alternative that is applicable to some games, or may or may not be recognized by some games, is to have one of these Airsoft specific tourniquets. Some games even allow you to use real tourniquets. This does the same thing as the bandages. It's just, it has some cool factor, I guess, for the people who want it. And then to dive into the Airsoft specific or mission specific stuff and go a little even farther with it, you can go crazy. So this is a plate carrier that I have. I've got water straw in here, and it's got a hydration bladder in the back, as I mentioned. I've got some radio equipment on here, and helmet and all this stuff that plugs in. Now I can talk to teammates. I have a magazine pouch in the front, and so these magazines are easily accessible, and I can carry 6 of them up here across the front. There's a clickable little deadlight in the front here. I've got a full medical kit in the back. Never had to use this type of thing, hope I never do, but you're statistically more likely to use this than lots of other life-saving equipment, so I've got that on there. You can find this same idea in a bajillion different ways, a bajillion different methods. There's plate carriers, there's chest rigs, there's belt setups, there's as much as you can imagine, right? But don't feel like you have to go out and buy all this stuff immediately and dive off the deep end and spend a bunch of money before you really realize what do you like and how do you like to play with it. If you really even like this a lot, to invest into it. Simple, quick, and easy method is you can do it with a backpack. I will be honest, it is not nearly as effective. It's not nearly as cool factor and enjoyable and all these things, but for whatever you need to keep with you on the field, push comes to shove, you can do it in a backpack and a couple of cargo pockets. That's totally doable. Also think about for the event, whether it's civilian clothing or camo or whatever the case is, have that appropriate clothing. The last piece of that I would say is your footwear, right? So some type of a hiking or outdoor styled boot or shoe. It doesn't have to be military specific, by all means. Lots and lots of people in the military use what was originally intended to be a hiking shoe, and they've used it for a variety of things. If you don't have hiking shoes, hiking boots type of thing, tennis shoes will do fine in many environments, but some of them you'll want to have that ankle support and a variety of things there. Just something to be aware of and something to consider. Don't show up in flip-flops. You'll have a bad day, as you can imagine, right? So there's loads and loads more that we go into on all this stuff. Like I said, there's even subtopics within this that you could get a PhD in if you wanted to. But the point is to get out there and have fun, right? Get out there and enjoy, a weekend or a day out with people, doing something fun, getting out and running around and getting some adrenaline dumps and just having an overall good time. So by all means, if you have any questions on any of this stuff, please let me know, hit me up, and I will do everything I can to answer those questions. Appreciate you guys.